gonna talk about being a disruptor, right? This one movie in particular, I was like, ooh, we gotta talk about this one.
Let's go.
So the movie is Air, the story of greatness, and there's two characters that I want to focus on in this movie.
Okay.
One, Sonny, which is played by Matt Damon.
Right.
Two, Dolores Jordan, which is Michael Jordan's mom, which is played by Viola Davis.
My girl. What's happening, people? Welcome back to Be More to Do More podcast, where we help you to become the person you need to become to do the things you call to do. Your boy Tone in the building and
Henry Allen Harton.
the what?
The third.
Don't forget the three. Hey man, I just love this intro, man.
AKA the culture is it.
The culture exec is in the building, bro. What we talking about today? I know it got something to do with the culture.
Yeah, it definitely got something to do with the culture.
Man, my man.
Probably the most popular shoe in all of the culture.
What, the LeBron James shoe?
It should be. He's the greatest of all time. But now we're gonna
get my response for that.
we're gonna talk about being a disruptor, right?
Okay.
And
Let's talk about it.
And more so from the area of like having results.
Right.
Because it's okay to be a disruptor when you have results.
Right.
But the problem comes in is when you try and do something different and it's not working.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
So if you're going to do something different, you better make sure that you don't miss.
Right.
Right. So I got sick a few weeks ago, right? Little stomach bug or whatever it was. Had me down for like 2 days or whatever, right?
Actually, we potted that day too.
Dang, we did pot that day.
And I was like, bro, it look like he ain't, I don't know. It just looked like, if anybody saw it, they probably wouldn't see it. But I was like, yeah, he just looked like he was like, but anyway, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
So, I'm stuck at that house so a little bit longer than usual. And I decided to fill my time with watching some inspirational movies, right?
Okay. That's a good way to drift.
Yeah, good way to drift, right? So this one movie in particular, I was like, ooh, we got to talk about this one.
Let's go.
And there's two people that I want to focus on in this movie. So the movie is Air. So the story of Michael Jordan, or the story of greatness, right?
Right.
So the movie is Air, the story of greatness. And there's two characters that I want to focus on in this movie.
Okay.
One, Sonny, which is played by Matt Damon.
Right.
Two, Dolores Jordan, which is Michael Jordan's mom, which is played by Viola Davis.
My girl.
Right. So if you haven't watched the movie, stop here, go watch the movie, because it will be a spoiler alert.
And then come bite.
Right, must run a 229, but you saying bite? Well, what you got going on?
That's Florida, man. Jacksonville, man.
All right, so start off with Sonny, right? Sonny is in the basketball department, right? At this time, I believe the basketball department is roughly, I think, 17% of either Nike or 17% of the entire basketball, like, shoe game or whatever, right? Because at this time, Nike has established itself as a running shoe, and they got this big brand based on running shoes, right?
Yeah. And
Sonny is over the basketball department, and normally what they do is they choose like 4 players to pursue,
right?
Mid to late first rounders or whatever, to get their, put their shoe on, right?
Right.
But he's like, man, like it hasn't been working,
right?
We have to do something different.
Okay.
So he gets this idea to put the whole $250,000 that they would normally divvy out to different players, which makes sense, right? Like you want to, if you have X amount of dollars, you want to divide it amongst, multiple investments instead of just putting it all in one basket, right?
Yeah, that's what they say. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
That's it, right? Yeah. So he has this idea that, no, we need to focus on one player.
Right.
And we need to choose the right player that's going to be able to push our basketball division to greater heights, right?
That's true.
And he ends up, watching film on Michael Jordan.
Okay. The
second greatest basketball player of all time.
Is it the greatest? The
second greatest basketball player of all time.
Okay.
And he ends up like notices something about him. And what he notices is that he was ready for the ball the whole time.
Right.
Because Dean Smith, shout out to North Carolina, University of North Carolina, go Tar Heels. Right. He realized that Coach Smith drew the play up for a freshman because Michael Jordan was a freshman at the time.
Wow.
So he's like, and he sees how relaxed and how like just this, like he sees it.
Yeah.
Right? He sees something different.
I totally forgot. You going deep. I totally forgot about that part.
Yeah.
Yeah. He saw something different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because in a little perspective, had James Worthy. James Worthy, I want to say James Worthy was like a number 1 overall pick. He might not be. I know he's probably like top 5 though. He's a legend in the NBA, right?
Right.
So he was on the team. So everybody's probably thinking the ball is going to James Worthy because he's that dude at this time.
Right.
But Dean Smith had the foresight to this guy Michael is different. He's the first freshman, I believe, that he started.
Wow.
At the University of North Carolina, right? So super special guy, right?
Right.
So, so he's watching this, right? And he figures out Michael Jordan is the guy.
That he's the guy.
He does his research on him. He's the guy.
Right.
So he goes to field night, goes to field night, and he says, "Hey, Phil, I got an idea. We need to put all of our eggs in this one kid named Michael Jordan. Right. He's the one."
Right.
And Phil is like, "This is not the first time you told me that."
Right.
Like he's like, I have shareholders that I have to protect.
Right.
And we have, or shareholders whose money we have to protect, and this is not a good investment.
Right.
And then Sonny goes on to tell him, don't forget your roots. Don't forget how you built this company. You built this company off of taking risks.
Hey, bro, you read the book Shootout?
No.
So this is my perspective. Not to cut you off.
No, you go.
But this is like, so I read Shootout. The longest memoir I ever read, but it kept me engaged because it talks about all the risks that Phil Knight took. Like this dude went, like I think the shoe was something else. It was called something else, but it was strictly for runners because he was a runner. But this dude went to China to meet the distributors. Like know nothing about China, but went to China. And I say like I say this like, if I was in his shoes, would I do that for my company? You know what I mean? Like now I have to measure myself on that. Like this dude went to China. Not only that, he went back and forth numerous of times where he established partnerships and friendships over there. So was it China or Taiwan? I think it was somewhere over in Asia. But he took crazy risk, man. Like, the book is good, man. So I had a different perspective coming in because I want to see where Phil Knight is, and the position they got him playing. He's more comfortable, relaxed. You know,
got a little purple, I don't know what kind of car it was, but it was a little sports car. Yeah,
the sports car. Like because he built the empire now. You know, granted, like he put in a lot of grind, man, and working with different runners or athletes. So yeah, man, like. Pretty much his roots, man. He grassroots, bro. He started from the ground, man, and he built that company. So yeah,
right. And I think like when you say that, right? This is what I believe. I believe when he said that, when he said like you were like, remember how you built this company? All those things you just talked about, him going to Asia to really going all in on Nike.
Right.
I think it ignited something in him. Yeah. To where he was like, all right, I'm not going to guarantee you that I'm going to spend all this money, but if you can get a meeting set up with Jordan, because at this time, Jordan wasn't interested in coming to Nike at all. He didn't want to, like, he made it clear, like, I'm going to Converse or I'm going to Adidas.
Right.
Nike is not even in the top 2, right?
Imagine having a Jordan that's Adidas. Well, go ahead.
So he's like, set up a meeting and we'll talk. Right. So Sonny ends up leaving, and he ends up talking to Howard. I can't remember his last name. It was Howard White, something like that, which is played by Chris Tucker, right?
Yeah.
And he's telling him, or maybe it was earlier in the movie he told him this, but everything is ran through the parents.
Right.
It really through the mama.
Right.
It's like if you can get the mama on board, then the kid is gonna follow. Right. Pretty much. Right. So Sonny, again, this is where Ben is disruptor, right?
Right.
Takes a big risk because at this time, I'm sure it's probably still this way. You don't bypass the agent
to get to the parents.
To talk to the athlete or to the parents, right? So
didn't he go at something like he went to their house and
he went to their house. He pulled up on them. I'm a fan of pulling up on folks. I'm a fan.
We just learned just before this pod, by the way. Yeah, go ahead. We got to solve your problem. I'm gonna pull up on you, but go ahead.
And she's like, "You better have something good. You coming up in my, you walking in my yard,
right?
Like." And he has a conversation with her. And he's like, "You and I are the only people that see what this kid can be."
Right.
So he's like giving her this vision, right, of who Michael Jordan could be, right? And he says in so many words, right, like, this is the company that's going to make him different.
Right.
And the only way that, or not the only way, and what you're going to find when you go to these other meetings, this is exactly, so he predicts the future in the sense of what the other company's pitch is and how they're going to, go about the, selling him on why he should sign with them.
Right.
So he does that, right? And it is, so the word gets back to the agent.
And the agent, he cussed him out, man.
Furious.
Cussed him out.
Pissed off.
Yeah.
Right? But at the end of it, we're coming to see you on whatever day it was, Sunday.
Yeah. We'll be there.
We'll be there.
Right.
So it worked, right? It worked.
Yeah.
So like now it's like, okay, you got this, you still haven't got enough commitment from Phil, right? That you're even going to be able to offer him this money.
Right.
You don't have a shoe at this point, either.
Right.
So it's like he's doing all this off of a hope and a prayer, right?
Yeah.
But
that's a big risk.
It's a big risk, right? But he ends up getting the meeting set up, and during this meeting, it's not going the way that, it's kind of boring, a little stale, right? Kind of corporate-y.
Didn't they practice this meeting?
They practice the meeting.
When she come in.
Right. Hey, come in a few minutes late, right? Like,
yeah.
All this extra stuff.
And Phil couldn't do that. He couldn't.
Terrible execution, right? Terrible execution. And again, this is why I love Sonny, right? Sonny's a disruptor. Sonny's paying attention to the temperature of the room.
Right.
He realizes, this ain't it.
Right.
He cut it off, and he gives him the most inspirational speech that you could get in the 1980s.
My man was a preacher.
Preaching to him. Let's play it.
All right. Here we go.
It can buy you almost anything. It can't buy you immortality. That you have to earn. I'm gonna look you in the eyes and I'm gonna tell you the future. You were cut from your high school basketball team. You willed your way to the NBA. You're gonna win championships. It's an American story, and that's why Americans are gonna love it. People are gonna build you up. God, are they going to? Because when you're great and new, we love you. Man, we'll build you into something that doesn't even exist. You're gonna change the fucking world. But you know what? Once they've built you as high as they possibly can, they're gonna tear you back down. It's the most predictable pattern. We build you into something that doesn't exist, and that means you have to try to be that thing. All day, every day. That's how it works. And we do it again, and again, and again. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. You're gonna be attacked, betrayed, exposed, and humiliated. And you'll survive that. A lot of people can climb that mountain. It's the way down that breaks them. Because that's the moment when you are truly alone. And what will you do then? Can you summon the will to fight on through all the pain and rise again? Who are you, Michael? That will be the defining question of your life. And I think you already know the answer. And that's why we're all here. A shoe is just a shoe. Until somebody steps into it. Then it has meaning. The rest of us just want a chance to touch that greatness. And we need you in these shoes, not so you have meaning in your life, but so that we have meaning in ours. Everyone at this table will be forgotten as soon as our time here is up. Except for you. You're gonna be remembered forever, because some things are eternal. You're Michael Jordan, and your story is gonna make us want to fly.
Boom.
Boom.
Boom. Great speech.
Got chills, man.
Great speech, right?
Chills, man.
So he has this inspirational speech, right? And he's like, hopefully it works.
Right.
And I don't know if it's like 2 days later, 3 days later, 5 days later, or whatever. He gets a phone call, and this is where Dolores comes in at, right? Being a disruptor. And Michael Jordan's mom tells him, hey, we're going to go with your because what she saw in her eyes, everything that Sonny has told her up to this point,
she saw it,
was absolutely true.
She saw it.
She saw it. She knows who Michael it can be, right? She sees that. She also went to the meetings and realized that, dang, everything Sonny told me that they were going to say, they said.
Yeah, he was just going to be another number.
Just another number.
Right.
So let me take my son somewhere that he can make a difference at.
Right.
So she says, we want to go with you. We're choosing Nike.
There's a big
one condition.
But
we want a percentage on every single Jordan apparel or merchandise, whatever, that's sold.
Boom.
And he's like, wait, what you mean? Like this, nobody does that. Like,
right.
Nobody, that's not like,
a disruptor.
Yeah. So she's like, well, that's my terms.
Right.
I'm sure, hopefully you can figure it out.
Dang.
Bye.
Right. It's crazy though, because they both, it seemed like she had leverage.
Yeah.
It seems like, but after going to those different companies, she realized that he's just gonna be another number. And they can really brand him at this shoe company. But she didn't let them know that.
Right.
She played her cards.
She played her cards. Played the card. And another thing I like that Sonny did was like, when they made the shoe, they were like, man, but we'll pay, because at this time the NBA had a rule, only 51% of the shoe could be in color.
Oh, they paid the fee.
They paid the fine for him to have more colorful shoes.
Oh, that's smart though.
Smart, brilliant marketing.
Oh,
and that's what they said was like, oh, and if they have an issue with it, we'll run it as the NBA has a problem with color. Genius, right? Like genius.
Oh, my
And it does
gosh.
nothing but market the shoe. It markets the shoe.
Well, yeah, the shoe and the player.
Yeah.
Because now the player is standing out. That's
Bingo.
ooh.
Why do you think Ocho Cinco is so popular right now?
Because didn't he wear some highlighter shoes or something?
No,
the grill. Didn't he have a grill?
he had a lot. He had a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing was, why do we call him Ocho Cinco? Like that was his nickname, or that's like it became his nickname, right?
Right.
But what he did was, he couldn't sell. It's something about he couldn't sell the shirt, or he couldn't put it on his back of his jersey or something because it wasn't his name.
Oh.
So he had, because his name is Chad Johnson.
Right.
So what he did was he changed his name legally to Ocho Cinco.
Oh, wow.
So he could put it on his back of his jersey.
Wow.
That's why this dude is a legend.
Yeah.
Like that's why people gravitate towards him now, even though he's not playing anymore. He's on nightcap or whatever, right, with Shannon Sharp. Like, he became a legend because of the things, because his business acumen and the things that he did off of the field.
Right.
And on the field that really was kind of off the field stuff. Like, it had nothing to do with the sport of football. His name, the grill, the celebration. Like, it's really nothing to do with football itself. It was just, it was marketing.
So what, if you could remind me, no, go ahead. Finish your point.
No, go ahead. 'Cause go ahead.
Okay, so if you can remind me, what point in Michael's career did Sonny see Michael Jordan and wanted to pursue him? Was he?
It was a draft.
When he was drafted, right?
Yeah.
Michael was he a sophomore? What was Michael?
When he went out in the draft?
Yeah.
Shoot, I don't know. Maybe a junior. I feel like he maybe went out junior year, maybe.
Yeah. But you remember too, I think Michael was up against a few other drafts. Like,
he was a fourth overall pick.
Yeah.
He wasn't number one.
So the disruption part was Sonny seeing the vision. Like, he really did his research. And he see that, he's going to be the guy. Even though he's first, I think he's fourth, but he's going to be the guy. But imagine coming to your company with these numbers. Like, okay, he's number fourth pick, Let's put all our money in this one.
Right.
Yeah, like,
right.
Think about it. Not even a first draft.
Yeah, not even top three.
Not even top three. If I came to you and say, hey, we got this, let's put this money into this, and you know what I mean?
It don't make sense.
And it don't make sense, number wise or anything. Like
you, as the fourth round pick, your marketing is even different. Like, you're not getting marketed like you're the number one guy,
right?
Or even the number two guy,
right?
Like, you're number four,
right?
Like,
right. Sonny had crazy vision. So that was a big moment in disruption. But because I'm a creator, so I want to talk about like his creative piece, because now we're talking about marketing. And think about it. Think about this. Not only is Jordan, the greatest that ever played, basketball. You agree? Great. Not only, but the marketing, the vision that Sonny had, like, hey, we're gonna make this guy stand out. We're gonna make people gravitate to him. We're gonna make people see the greatness. So you got these first round picks going Adidas, All-Star, but they all wearing the same shoe.
Right.
How can they ever stand out?
Right.
I mean, it's a given that they're great, because we know they're great because they're being number one draft. But this guy's number 4. But he got these colors, and you know what I mean? We finna draw your attention to this guy right here. You know? So that's all in the making of making him great too. Because like, think about there are players that's like for real fire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But nobody look at us because they don't stand out.
Right.
You know what I mean? So just having the vision of picking this fourth
overall pick.
Putting all your money into him to make him stand out, so that you can see the greatness that you see in this cat.
Right.
That's a mindset of a disruptor, man.
Yep.
Yeah, man. So,
and this is the genius. Like you said, she didn't put all her kind of going back to Michael Jordan's mom. She didn't show her cards, right?
No.
What she also did was, so Sonny goes back,
right,
and tells Phil, man, like, we did it, but the deal is dead, right? And he's like, what? Like, yeah, she wants a percentage of the shoe.
Okay.
Like, there hasn't been done. Nobody, like, Phil looks at him. Bump it. Let's do it. See, that's the Phil Knight I know from the book. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That because he was a disruptor.
But and it's almost like, oh man, I know we talked about it a few episodes ago about collaboration.
Right.
But just think about it. Had Phil Knight not been willing to lose I don't know, it's 1%, 5%, 10%, whatever it is,
right,
of every shoe that was sold, Nike would not be the multi-billion-dollar company that it is today.
That's true. That's true. And not even the fact that they had a feud and beef with Adidas constantly in Shoe Dog, because Adidas was they had built around running and stuff like that. Their shoes. So in the book, there was a constant feud between the two, and I think they would lose clients that would go over to Adidas, and Adidas would try to steal their people. Like it was always this,
right?
You know what I mean?
Right.
But Phil making that move, it just see y'all in the rearview, man.
Yeah. So you gotta have that vision, right? And so now Phil's on board. Cool. They signed a deal. Right. And this is the brilliancy of Dolores. And again, we talk about the culture, right? Sonny's on the phone with the agent, I believe.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, Adidas was never gonna match that offer.
Yeah.
Like they were never gonna, give us ownership of part of the shoe.
They was established already.
And I don't know if in my head it pans back to Michael Jordan's mom just kind of like smiling, proud of what she's done, right?
Right.
And it leads me to the lyric of the week.
Wait.
Story time.
No, that's not. There we go. I hit the wrong button. Go ahead. Lyric
of the week. And this comes from Big Sean. If you haven't, bro, by the way, I revisited Dark Sky Paradise. It is a phenomenal album.
Right.
Classic album. So I'm not sure if you've heard the album before, but definitely check it out.
No,
anyway.
You know me, man. I ain't.
Classic album, though.
Okay.
And this song that he has on there, Stay Down. So Big Sean says, and he's talking about ownership.
Right.
Right. And he's talking about being able to really kind of carve your own path in a sense.
Right.
But, and he said, and he kind of building up to it, he says, people will let you have these nice things.
Right.
They'll let you wear whatever, fly on a private jet, whatever. But what they're not going to do is they're not going to give you ownership of anything.
Right.
So the lyric of the week comes from Big Sean, and he says, well, bump giving it to me. I'm going to take that.
I'll take it.
Forget cracking the code. I'm going to break that. I'm going to calamari steak that and call so much ice me and my dog's going to skate that.
Yeah, skate that. I like that. He was spitting bars.
Right. So what he's saying is, you know what? Forget it. You ain't got to give it to me. I'm Dolores Jordan, and I'm gonna finesse you into giving me percentage points. My name is Sonny. And not only am I going to do what I need to do to get this basketball department taken care of, right? Because me and my dog's gonna skate.
Right.
We're gonna make sure the whole company eat off of this.
Right.
So the whole Nike company was, I think the first year I don't know if they sold or it was something, I can't remember the numbers. I don't want to say the numbers, but we know today, right? Jordan is a $1 billion brand. The Jordan brand is a $1 billion brand.
Now he owns his own brand.
Own his own brand. It's still, partnered through Nike or whatever, but if Jordan brand is $1 billion, what do you think that means that Nike, you know what I'm saying, it's done for Nike.
Yeah. Nike.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's just.
Look, because okay. And you said the culture. It's a few points I want to make because you said the culture, right? Mm-hmm. So think about it. So the Nike was pretty much before then, tennis players,
right.
White tennis players, white runners. They are with Jordan. They ingrained themselves in our culture,
right?
You know what I mean?
Right.
So not only you got to think about this and that time period. You remember back in the day when Adidas was the My Adidas by Run DMC?
I wasn't born then, but yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Rocking My Adidas. So everybody wanted the Adidas in hip hop.
Yeah.
So now Jordan come.
Right.
They ingrained themselves in the culture because around this time hip hop was, real popping. So
right.
Now you got Jordan, the greatest. he's co-mingling with Michael Jackson. You know, they did a song. You know, he's in the bit. So you got to think about all of the substance that came from that. From our culture to Nike. So now we can be I say we, like Nike is my company. Now Nike can be the face for black runners, or the face for black tennis players, or the face for black, you see what I'm saying? Because they ingrained themselves in our culture just by that one move.
Just by that one move, man. It created so much. It was a legacy move.
Right.
And I think when you look at, and I guess I can, end it on this, right?
Man, I got so many questions.
Oh, you do? Okay. So when you look at being a disruptor,
right?
Being a disruptor is all about changing the legacy of whatever the status quo is.
Okay. I was just about to ask you, what's the definition of a disruptor?
Oh, I don't know the definition.
You just said it. You said it means to break apart.
Oh, really?
To throw into disorder.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So, because that's how you create something that lasts, right? And that's how you separate yourself from the competition, is doing something that's different.
Right.
Like, I'm going to continue to do things that's different.
Right.
I'm going to continue to encourage people to do things that's different.
That's true.
Like, I got somebody on my team that wants to do something that is, could potentially, it's a protected class, right? Protected thing. So she has every right to do it. And, but her concern is the effect that it's going to have on the business, because how people going to look at it.
It's a protective class.
Yeah.
Were they fighting?
No.
You can't say it?
I don't want to say it.
Okay, you got to say it.
But, and I'm like, bump them folks. Like, dude, this is something that you believe in, do it.
I think that's the part of being creative too. Because I mentioned on one podcast that art has no boundaries. It has no limiters, and when you can be creative, being a creative, would cause disruption regardless, because you're thinking outside of the box, so if you have ideas, man, like I say, no idea is a bad idea. If you have ideas, write them down, jot them down, if you see something different that everybody isn't seeing, pursue that. Right. Because ultimately you'll become a disruptor of your industry or whatever. So that's just my advice from what I've taken from this movie. Now, and I think this is our first time talking about the movie in depth. Yeah. And it just taking it, because I watched it like a few months ago, but it just takes me back to you say two characters, I'm thinking about three. Ooh. I'm thinking about Phil Knight.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm coming from,
he's the original disruptor.
Yeah. So I can see how this move kind of sparked his gears. Got his gears grinding, because that's where he started from. And he's like, yo, being a disruptor, that's his nature. And he just got comfortable. And Sonny brought that out of him. Right. And Sonny, you can just tell but I can kind of relate with Sonny, because Sonny, you can just tell he's just a disruptor, period. Right.
Right. He's a rebel.
Yeah, he's a rebel. And I can relate with it. Always got ideas. Like he said, this is not the first time you told me this, son. You know what I mean? And the mother, she saw that this is an opportunity to do something that no other shoe company has done for her son. Yep. And it's just them thinking out of the box, even with the color of the shoe, paying the fees, because we know that's an investment. Right. This guy's great. We want him to stand out. We want people to see this. That's going to come back. You know what I mean? So on all parts, man, they disrupt Phil Knight with the corporate. He didn't do what was norm for for his shareholders. Sonny, yeah, man, it's a lot of crossing the lines there, man. Yeah. I just want to encourage everybody in business or in leadership, doobies, to stay creative, stay disrupting, man. Now, there's a difference between rebellion and being disruptive. Yeah. What I mean? I think there's a balance with that.
You got to be right.
Right.
Shout out to all my doobies out there.
Doobies.
If you want to be a disruptor, you better be right.
You better be. Well, it's gonna lose you
because then you're a rebel and you get fired. So,
well, I think creativity, man. Like you can be creative with rules and regulations.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Because again, creative don't have any boundaries. Like it reminded me of Jesus when they came to Jesus and they was like, "We got to pay taxes. Do we pay taxes or no, or whatever?"
Right.
One instance, Jesus said, "Give to Caesar what is Caesar. Give God what is God." But then there was one instant where we got to pay taxes. I think Peter owed taxes, and Jesus said, "Okay, go to the ocean and get the coin out of the fish's mouth." In that instant, it showed me that although God is divine, he still respected the boundaries, but he was creative outside of the boundaries and still respected the boundaries.
Right.
That's a part of being creative. You can be creative. That doesn't mean you have to disrespect the rules and the guidelines. You can just be creative within those guidelines. You know what I mean? It's just that sometimes people put things in order that people always follow, and they just never saw the bigger picture or a different picture or another way to follow those rules and regulations.
Yeah.
They just began to follow pursuit, and it becomes black and white and boring. I think that's why I had like 300 jobs too, bro. I'm now finding that balance.
Yeah.
Man. But cool, man. That's all I got.
That's all I got.
Well, y'all be sure to like, share, subscribe to this information. Hit the bell.
Hit the bell.
Hit the bell, man. Let's get this information out of here, and I think we're out.
Time you tell somebody keep their head up, cause you concerned about them. Stick and move, we can get it done. Call it unity, it ain't no way around it. Cultivating, we get motivation from the big guy. We don't play about them. Going hard for the game, showing